So I know you all say she's prohibited from practicing as a nurse in the state of Texas. Okay, but she's not a nurse. She's not licensed to be a nurse. This is just somebody that somebody just hired off the street and said, hey. So her history, obviously she's a repeater, which means she's been to prison for drugs. And now she's coming out and she's picking up another drug case and she's currently using drugs. Did you just come from work? No, A, B, and C. I'll consider it, but I'm not inclined to grant it because somebody has to protect the vulnerable people in society. I mean, you can't use meth and take care of people. You can't.
This is the judge laying down the core principle of the entire hearing: duty of care. In criminal law, when vulnerable people are involved, especially the elderly, the court applies a much harsher lens. The question isn't sympathy for the defendant, it's risk to the public. And from here on out, everything the judge says is about protection, not punishment. Do you agree with that balance?
Sentencing?
Yes, Judge.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
My client is in Chicago. She understands, she should not have slapped this individual. She does accept responsibility for it. She would just like to move on and be able to work and complete her probation without any problems.
All right, so how much training does she have in the field? Is she a licensed nurse or is she a person that somebody hires and says, hey, we need somebody to come in as a caregiver?
She will have to answer that one.
All right, are you a licensed nurse?
No, I'm working towards getting my CNA.
All right, so this is a situation where somebody just hired you to come in and work in a facility.
I'm a caregiver.
All right, so what's your level of education to be a caregiver?
I finished high school.
All right. See, this is what I mean. Everybody's just letting everybody be a caregiver. And the problem is that being a...
Pause right here, because this is huge. A second-degree felony means real prison time, not a slap on the wrist. But notice what happens next. Instead of immediate incarceration, the court chooses deferred adjudication. That's not forgiveness. It's conditional mercy. One mistake on probation, and that 20-year ceiling comes right back into play. Would you risk it?
Not a nurse. She's not licensed to be a nurse. This is just somebody that somebody just hired off the street and said, hey, you have a high school diploma. You want to receive minimum wage to take care of people that nobody else maybe wants to take care of. And this is where we end up. And what was the name of this facility? Let me see. Chapters Living of San Antonio. All right. This is what the court is going to do. Does anybody want to speak to length of probation? The state is asking for 3 years. All right. Court is going to sentence you to 5 years deferred adjudication. There's a $1,500 fine. There is to be proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider, no employment with working with minors, no employment with...
This is where the courtroom shifts from legal procedure to moral reckoning. The judge isn't just sentencing a person. She's indicting an entire system that hires untrained caregivers for society's most fragile people. Minimum wage, minimal screening, maximum consequences. Should facilities be held just as accountable as the individual?
As a nurse in Texas or anywhere else. So I'm just going to say no practicing as a nurse. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. There's to be regular random UAs. 120 hours of community service restitution. The $1,500 fine will be probated. There's to be anger management. I'm ordering anger management because you all agreed to it, but it just appears that you were a person who should never have been working with someone in any type of facility or young children or people who have mental health issues. That's just not a field for you. Probation, is there anything else? Yes. What county are you in? I'm sorry, where?
Cook.
All right. She's allowed to transfer to Cook County in Illinois. Is it Illinois?
Yeah.
And Judge, if I may,
Yes.
is this court inclined to include a no contact for Ms. Maria La Rochelle?
Yes. And there's to be no contact with Maria La Rochelle. And there's to be no residing with the elderly. And for the court, I'm putting elderly at anyone over the age of 60. Probation, anything else? All right, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Good luck to you. Don't take any more of these positions that requires you to have patience and that requires you to be with someone who has dementia, Alzheimer's, they're elderly, they need somebody to be kind and patient with them. You shouldn't work in those positions. Do you understand?
Yes.
And I do fault the company that hired you as well. All right. I'm going to send you to the breakout room. Probation will go in the breakout room with you and go over conditions. And I will place you in breakout room number so she can't work there. She needs to get a job. I mean, is she telling that company, hey, I'm currently using drugs?
Of course not, Judge, but would the court consider doing zero tolerance drug test now? I mean, she's been working there 3 months and they've kept her on, and she does have a history. So they hired her and it is a very decent job.
But do they know that she's currently using drugs? Because the problem is, if she's using drugs and there are patients there that need drugs, then she could potentially end up taking their drugs. I'm not saying that that's what's happening, but people need to stop hiring people to be home healthcare providers, draw people's blood and do all of this when they have all of these things in their past and they're still doing the same thing. So her history, obviously she's a repeater, which means she's been to prison for drugs. And now she's coming out and she's picking up another drug case and she's currently using drugs. Did you just come from work?
No, ma'am. I'm going to work. Yeah, but not anymore.
So, yeah.
And we did discuss the possibility before.
All right. Do you have any children?
No, ma'am.
All right. Who do you live with?
My aunt.
Okay. I mean, once she becomes clean and sober, the court will reconsider things. But I'm sure maybe that company needed somebody and they were taking a chance on her. But my role, I feel like my role, part of it is protecting the community. And I can't, in good conscience, have you being in the position that you're in with vulnerable people and you're using. You understand? So when's the last time you used meth?
This weekend, the one that just passed, probably Saturday.
All right. It'll be more than Saturday if it's still in your system. Other than meth, are you using anything else?
Amen.
Okay.
So-
All right. Yes.
Pardon, just so would you consider allowing her to go and speak to her employees, maybe take a week off or have a clean drug test? Maybe they'll give her a week off to continue the position.
I mean,
And you can routinely.
I can't trust that. I mean, if they want to come in and say, we know that she's using meth, we know A, B, and C, I'll consider it, but I'm not inclined to grant it because somebody has to protect the vulnerable people in society. So, I mean, you can't use meth and take care of people. You can't use meth and take care of elderly people because they're vulnerable. You can't use meth and take care of children.
These aren't random probation terms. They're surgical restrictions. The court is cutting off access to vulnerable populations entirely. That's a clear signal. The judge believed the risk isn't temporary. It's fundamental. This isn't about one incident. It's about unsuitability. Do you think courts should have this much power over someone's career?
This is what the court is going to do. Court is going to sentence you to 10 years in prison, suspended and probated for 10 years. And if you start doing well on probation, I can always consider different things. But wherever you work, they need to be given a heads up and given a true rendition of where you are in your life. You understand? So there's going to be a $1,500 fine. That will be probated. Proof of employment within 30 days, and your client was late for court today. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Take in consideration NIMAC number 6822729, 737478. There's to be restitution, if any, to Live Oak for drug testing. If you feel like they're asking for too much for that, we can have a hearing on it. And restitution, if any, in cause numbers, NIMAC number 6822729, 737478. We can do a TAP eval while out of custody. Whatever the TAP evaluation recommends, we're going to start with intensive outpatient treatment. And we can do a referral to felony drug court. They have a wait list, but maybe they're going to do a graduation soon. There is to be no contact with Cody King and the complainants, and NIMAC numbers 6822729, 737478. There's to be 250 hours of community service restitution. The court will not waive those hours. You need to do those hours. Field visits, 1 time per month until she's in treatment. And then thereafter, it'll be at probation's discretion. There's to be regular random UAs. And I'm going to want 90 sober meetings in 90 days. Probation, is there anything else she needs? Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful? I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. Ms. Summers, I'm not trying to be cruel or mean to you by saying you can't work in that field. But if you think about it honestly, if you had your aunt or some relative that you loved, you wouldn't want somebody who's using to be taking care of them, right? All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Johnny Lamone. All right, so there's some issues with you. And are you aware of those issues? So this is me having a conversation with you. Nobody's filed a motion to revoke yet. But depending on your actions, a motion to revoke may be filed.
Yes, ma'am.
So the issues with you are you're not submitting for testing.
Correct.
That's a part of being on probation. You have to test. Why have you not been testing?
I have not had the funds, and like whenever I do have to go test, I haven't had the funds to do so at the time to do it, the exact funds to do that. I have a car payment that I've been paying, so I haven't been able to get the funds together.
All right, when you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be? And you're going to get drug tested today.
I'm a negative.
All right. So we will, Ms. Abrams, she said she's available to do a drug test today.
Did speak a little bit about what the other issues listed on the supplemental report is.
Mhm.
And basically she did indicate that she would be negative. She is not opposed to doing felony drug court evaluation.
Mhm.
She indicates she is in school currently. She has things to occupy her mind and her time. And she's really just trying at this point.
Okay. All right. So we're going to do a drug test today. You're not going to have to pay for it. And then we will get the result. And based upon that result, that will tell me what should or should not be done. All right. Could you direct her where she needs to go for
Yes.
the drug testing? All right. And then we'll come back here and counsel. It should take maybe 15 minutes. Yes. All right. Thank you. Who else is ready? Juan Rios. Did you understand you're charged with deadly conduct firearm as a third-degree felony? The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand? Right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you apply for deferred adjudication. This will come back on April 6th. I'll base my decision on your application based upon the PSI report and any other evidence that's presented. Probation, I need a PSI and tap on Martin Martinez. All right, you entered a plea on April 6th. You entered a plea of guilty. According to the plea bargaining agreement, your punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 5 years in the prison. The state is silent on your applications. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state?
No, Your Honor. I'm reviewing it now.
All right, defense?
Yes, Your Honor, I have.
Defense, do you have any objection?
No, I have no objection to CSI.
All right. Defense, do you have any witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor, I have 4 short witnesses, including my client.
All right, you can call up your witness,
The first witness I'll call is Marty Martinez.
please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you're going to have to speak up so that the court reporter can hear.
I do.
Will you state your name for the record and spell it?
It's Martin Daniel Martinez, MartinDaniel, MartinEZ.
All right, defense?
Thank you, Your Honor. And you go by Marty, is that correct?
That is correct.
And how are you related to Martin Martinez Jr.?
I am his father.
And talk to me a little bit about Martin. What kind of kid was Martin as he was growing up?
Very respectful kid, growing up. Was great in school. No problems with him. He wasn't a problem child, thank God.
Where did you go to high school?
So he went to East Central High School.
And after high school, what did he do after that?
He went into LVN school.
And has he been working as a nurse since that time?
Yes, he also worked part-time at Bill Miller's and other odd jobs while he was going to school.
And are you aware that he has some health conditions that may be difficult for him to be incarcerated?
Yes.
And can you briefly describe that for the court?
Yes, my son was born with a rectal anus in the patch. So he had to have a colostomy bag. And he went through a lot of doctor visits, operation, correct this, but he still has issues to this day. Having bowel movements.
And then let's talk about your son. Has he been like instrumental in your family and helping other family members?
Oh yes.
Can you give us an example?
Yes, he is there to educate people around him that are in the nursing field. And he's very respectful of people's decisions. But he's a good child.
And does he have children?
Yes, he does.
What kind of father is he?
He is an exceptional father. He loves his kids.
And during the time when he was working in the nursing field and during the time of COVID, was that difficult for him? I said during the time of COVID, when he was working in the nursing field, was that specifically difficult to him in your mind?
Yes, I mean, everyone had their issues financially, but being that he's a nurse, I mean, he overcame that. I mean, he had a job.
Is there anything that you'd like to tell the judge before she decides to sentence your son?
Yes, I believe he deserves a second chance. We all make mistakes. He is a loving father. 2 kids, a husband, and I believe he won't mess up again. This was a mistake.
And in any of his life, is this the only time he's ever been in any trouble?
Yes,
He's never been arrested for any other offense other than this current offense.
that is correct.
I'll pass the witness. No questions.
All right. Thank you so much for coming and giving me some insight.
Thank you.
All right. Good morning. Can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Mary Ann Martinez.
Ms. Martinez, how are you related to Martin Martinez?
I am his mother.
Can you step up here? I mean, can you speak up so that they're going to take this in the record? Can you tell me what kind of man your son is?
He's a loving, caring, exceptional son. I couldn't ask for anything more from him.
Has he ever been in any trouble before?
No.
And
Sorry, no.
and your son, tell me about this situation. Has he talked to you about it?
Yes.
And has he expressed remorse to you?
Yes.
Can you describe that for me?
We cried. We talked about it. We prayed about it. And I just said that we believe in God and that He will protect us and direct us in the right path.
Is religion an important factor in both you and your son's life?
Yeah.
And what would you like to tell the judge before she makes her decision today?
That I believe in second chances as well, and that we all make mistakes, and that he is a responsible person. He really is. It's just something that happened, and that I will take into consideration of being there to support him with everything that happens today.
And Martin has quite a bit of family support, is that correct?
Yes, he does.
And do you feel that he will make every effort to, to comply with whatever the court orders him to do and to improve himself as much as he can?
Yes, and he has.
That's all I have.
All right. Any questions?
No questions.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Call your next witness.
We'll call Sarah Cedillo.
Sarah Cedillo, right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right. You can lower your hand, state your name for the record, please.
Sarah Cedillo.
And could you spell your last name?
It's Sedillo.
Defense.
Can you describe your relationship with Martin Martinez?
We're extremely close. And I mean, I trust him.
Are you dating? What's your
Oh, I'm
relationship?
sorry. Why, wait, he's my significant other. We've been together for 10 years.
Do you have
So-
children together?
We do. We
How
have
many children?
2 children.
And what are their ages and sex?
7, and he's a boy, and a girl, 4 years old.
What kind of father is Martin?
Martin, he's an exceptional father. He does everything for the kids, and he's always there for them. Always, even if he's tired out there playing with them every day, whatever they want to do, and they love him dearly.
And what kind of husband is he?
He's always there, financially, and physically, everything, emotionally, in any hard times, and he supports all our family very well.
Has he ever been in it? Before this, has he ever had any contact with law enforcement?
No, really no.
And how many years have you guys been together all together? Before, while you were dating, and then while you had children and all that?
It's been a total of 10 years.
10 years.
Mhm.
And during that time, has he shown himself to be tell us what kind of man he is?
He's trustworthy, and I can always depend on him anytime I need anything. And just so he's financially stable, he's always provided for all of us and gone an extra mile.
How's he employed?
He's a registered nurse.
During the time when COVID was returning, he was working a lot of overtime.
Yes, he was, started doing travel with COVID.
and working extra hours, working out of town, just to make extra money for our family.
Was that stressful on both of you?
It was, just for the time that he was away from the kids and but it was ultimately to buy our house and everything, so for a good reason.
Is there anything you want to tell the judge before she pronounces sentence over Martin?
Just ask you to take into consideration what kind of person he is and that he doesn't have any history or anything, and we just really know that he's never going to do anything like this again. He regrets it. So
And he's expressed that to you on multiple occasions.
yes.
Just one moment. Miss Evans, if you won't have a word outside, you can go outside with your heart. All right, I'm sorry. Any questions? All right, thank you.
This time we'll call Martin Martinez Jr.
All right, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Martin Daniel Martinez Jr.
And Martin, let's start, before we get to what's going on, let's talk about your health first. Can you describe what that is and how that impacts you?
It's a congenital health issue, and perforate payments. There's no hole provided when I'm born. So difficulty having those issues, bowel movements,
Okay.
IBS. Sorry.
No. So I appreciate his health issues, but let me just tell you what my concern is so we can cut to the chase. My concern is this incident, according to the PSI and the stipulations, occurred because he's saying he was intoxicated. And then I'm reading the PSI report and he says he's still drinking alcohol. So that's what I want to hear about and I want addressed. Okay, sure.
Well, let's talk about that. So when was the last time you had a drink?
Yesterday.
Do you feel like you have a drinking problem?
I do.
And are you willing to get treatment for that?
I am willing.
Well, why did he say in the PSI that he didn't have a drinking problem? He didn't need treatment.
I've come to the realization that I do have.
Well, when was this PSI report done? What date was this PSI report completed?
March 31st.
So
If that was when it was completed, I don't know when they did the interview. His interview would have been sometime prior to that.
all right, so you just coming to this realization today that you have a drinking problem and you just drank yesterday?
No.
So when did you have this epiphany that you have a drinking problem?
I was watching the Bill W. documentary. Just kind of helped me realize.
When did you watch that documentary?
It's on Peacock, yes, 2 days ago.
Okay.
And is it, you think that there's going to be some, I mean, you definitely want to get treatment, but you think that you think you need treatment? That sounds like it.
I agree to treatment. I think it's always healthy to bring and better yourself, get away from the exact cause that's happening or creating the problem.
When did your drinking increase?
I wouldn't say a time or day, but I think.
Have you been drinking heavily for the last year or so?
Probably, yes.
Let's talk about your work. So during the time that you were working, tell us how you're presently employed.
So currently, my contract ended as a travel nurse. Just perfect timing through this situation, but for the past 9 years, I've been a registered nurse. I was an LVN first, moved up to an RN, and then continued to grow within my field of practice. Starting out low level floor nursing to ICU, intensive care to rapid response team, COVID team. Well,
how long were you working in the ICU?
For the ICU 2 years, and currently that was where I stayed in my own home hospital, and then probably another 2 years. So in critical care, total 4 to 5 years.
Was that stressful during the time of COVID?
It was very stressful. I have endurance as a nurse. I push myself, and you know,
About how many hours a week were you working?
60 plus.
And was that stressful on you and your family?
It was, but I knew I was needed at the time, and I continued to, put through.
Now, because of this charge, is this going to impact your nursing license?
It will, it may. The Board of Nursing has renewed my license for another 2 years after disclosing everything. But at any moment, they can take it away, and if I'm incarcerated, it's a definite takeaway.
But there's very possible you may have to go to some type of nursing board, even if you get probation. It's very possible you may have to go in front of the nursing board and answer them once all this is terminated, and then they would decide whether you would be able to maintain your license or not.
That is correct. I would have to ask the board, what the next steps are, see what they give me, referendums to continue on and try to persevere through that.
Let's talk about what happened the night that this occurred. Well, let me ask you this. You understand that your actions have not just impacted you, but it's impacted your family as well?
It has impacted me and my family.
Can you describe this? Can you describe how you feel about the negative way this has impacted your family, and potentially may impact them even more if you lose your license, right?
Correct. I'm letting down my family entirely, financially, physically, emotionally. I am there, as a good person, but this is holding me back from continuing to be that person just a bit.
And let's talk about what happened. So the night that this occurred, you had gotten into a dispute with the owner of the bar, is that correct?
That's correct.
And at some point you got in your car and you shot several rounds at the bar.
That's correct.
I mean, obviously you were intoxicated at the time that occurred.
I was.
Can you describe why you did that, or what was in your drunken mind at that point?
The altercation I had, I just recall being pushed down and hit in the face on my knees and asking for them not to do it anymore. Got in my truck, and then that's when I made the mistake of shooting to scare them.
And that was your purpose, was to scare them?
That was my purpose.
And did you shoot at any person?
No, I never intended to hurt anyone, but I didn't realize that I was hurting someone in a different way.
When you say hurting them in a different way, describe what way were you hurting them?
In my realization that, I put fear into their lives and put their lives in fear. That is not okay, but my mind wasn't thinking that way when I did that.
But now that you've had time to reflect on it, how do you feel about all that?
I feel remorse. I now see the empathy that, I have. I literally anxious about it. I wish I can tell them I apologize, but I'm not able to talk to them right now. And I understand that. I understand why.
If the judge gives you a chance to remain out of prison and puts you on probation, can you describe what even if she does send you to prison, let's talk about it. What kind of changes are you going to make in your life so that, and what kind of changes do you plan to make in your life after all this is out?
First and foremost, the alcohol is one to get rid of, since it's causing my life to be unmanageable. To continue to grow, I feel like I can do more volunteer work, help out in the community. I don't work as much because I paid off a lot of my bills, and but I feel that I can continue to grow and prosper and reflect on what I've done and continue to make better choices.
And what's the most important thing for you right now?
For me right now, this decision is to stay out of prison, hopefully continue with my nursing career, reach out and get a job, maintain my personal relationship with my family, and ultimately, hope for forgiveness for the rest of my life.
I'll pass witness at this time, Your Honor.
Any questions?
No.
So everybody tiptoed around everything. What exactly did you do?
We talked about it. I asked you shot.
Well, no, what you did was you got into an argument with somebody, and was this at a club?
Outside of the bar is.
Yeah, so you're at a bar, not with your children, not with your significant other. You get in an argument, you leave, and you come back and you fire shots into that building with the two complainants and other people who were inside. You want to discuss that?
It was a stupid mistake.
No, that wasn't a mistake. That was a choice.
It was a choice and a mistake. I agree. I honestly didn't understand. It's hard to say. I understood what I was doing, but I was not in my right mind.
Because it says here in the PSI report that you had more than one weapon in your vehicle. And there were several shots that actually hit the building. And there were multiple people in the building. All right. Anything else from either side?
Argument, Your Honor.
All right. Court will hear your argument.
Judge, I think Martin Martinez Jr. to be a good man. I believe that he's a man who loves his family. I believe that he's somebody who has been a benefit in many ways to this community. He's worked tirelessly as a nurse throughout the COVID epidemic. He's done everything he can during that time. Obviously, that was extremely stressful time for him, especially working in the ICU at that time. I think that exacerbated his drinking. Obviously, he made a horrible series of choices that night, which has led him here. He's facing losing his career that he spent years working in and going to school to obtain. It's very possible that he may have to change career fields in order to support his family. Look, what happened was extremely serious, and we're not downplaying that in any way. I mean, it's extremely a serious event, although what I believe is most appropriate for Mr. Martinez is rehabilitation. I believe that he is a hardworking man who will. Oh, that's right.
Thank you.
I believe he's a hardworking man who will do everything that he's required to do to get himself back in the good graces of society and the poor and his family. And so we're just asking for you to give him the opportunity to do probation. Obviously, it's clear, I think, to everybody that he does need alcohol treatment. He's willing to do whatever he needs to do. So we just ask the court to take all that into consideration and sentence him to probation.
All right. And the court see that there's no amount of restitution that's being requested from the complainants in the case. The court is going to find you guilty, sentence you to 2 years in prison, give you credit for any time served, taking consideration County Court Cause number 687552. And I would recommend for you the therapeutic community, showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it? All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. We can go off the record. According to your plea bargain, I've actually sentenced you to the minimum. I did take into consideration the fact of your occupation and what you've been doing. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yvonne Pettis. All right, state. Yes, on this case, you all were to obtain damages or images.
Radiology images. I was informed yesterday when we were following up on our request. We mistakenly sent the subpoena. There's apparently 2 different fishing trails in San Antonio, and it was sent to the wrong one. So we sent a new subpoena yesterday to obtain them. I would just respect.
The matter was referred for a pre-sentence report and a drug and alcohol evaluation. We are set for sentencing today. Those evaluations have been completed. The state has had the opportunity to review those reports. The state of Ohio is prepared to proceed today, Your Honor. And just for the record, the defendant does have 12 days of jail time credit at this time.
All right, Mr. Fatico.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I've had an opportunity to review the PSR and the psychiatric evaluation of the case. We're ready to go forward.
Go ahead.
As you can see from the report, Ms. Jurnaczek has no prior criminal history, no convictions of any kind, I don't believe. There is a joint rep for community control sanctions here. We'd ask the court to consider imposing the recommendation included in the psych evaluation. Ms. Jurnaczek was in a couple of abusive relationships, one her marriage, the other relationship that just ended a month or so ago. I think she would benefit for some counseling to deal with the trauma from those experiences. But again, we'd ask for community control sanctions with the recommendations concerned in the psychiatric report.
All right, Mr. Jurnaczek, what do you want to tell me?
What do you want me to? What are you asking me?
What?
What are you asking me?
You can say anything you want for me to consider before I sentence you. So what would you like to tell me?
I've already started bettering myself and making sure I'm committed to never putting myself in a position like this ever again.
And what do you mean putting yourself in a position?
Just being around good people and being a good person and helping others.
What about the situation with Miss Myers?
What would you like to know?
Well, I'd like to know what happened.
I entered a guilty plea, not because I'm admitting necessarily guilt, but I understand.
Well, sure you are, because I asked you the question.
Yeah.
If you understood that by entering a guilty plea, you were fully admitting your guilt to the offense. So you didn't do anything with regard to Miss Myers? Are you telling me you administered the drug to her as you were supposed to?
Yes, sir. Yes,
But it didn't show up in her test the following day?
Correct.
Right? Why is that?
The lab report that I have also states that her other medications that she took, even the morning of the drug test, were not in her urine as well.
Okay. Are you telling me that what can you tell me about the patent situation?
There wasn't a situation. I did my job fully as I'm supposed to.
Okay, what about the Lucci situation?
Same thing.
What are we doing? Well, then what are we doing here? Why are we here for sentencing if you didn't do anything?
I wanted to plea with the Alford plea.
Well, but it wasn't an Alford plea.
Right. I didn't have necessarily proper education or counsel on this.
Oh, sure you did. I mean, this guy's a really good lawyer. I've known him for 20 years.
I think it was maybe a conflict.
10 of it sitting here, 10 of it before that, having cases with him, against him, okay? So he knows exactly what he's doing. He's very smart, very good at what he does.
I agree. I just...
Now, do you have a problem with drugs?
No.
Have you ever had a problem with drugs?
No.
Why did you take that Dilaudid home on that one occasion?
It was just an accident. And I admitted it, and I took it back. How did it get in your bag if it was just an accident? From after watching the videos, I had carried it around with me.
Why? Why would you carry a drug around with you instead of just taking it where you get it from and administer it? Why would you carry it around?
So my employer, I was going to give it to her when I was clocking out, and that morning, plus I had COVID, that morning it was a snowstorm and management didn't come in. I had worked like 5 or 6 shifts in a row, different hours and schedules, and that was the 3rd shift that I was leaving, and it just went in my bag with the rest of my paperwork and stuff. And when they were calling me, I was sleeping from being up. And when I finally answered the call, I didn't think I had it, but I dumped my bag out and it was in there, which I looked at.
Who's Dr. Demagon?
Pain management.
And have you ever seen Demagon?
I did for 6 months,
When?
like 8, 10 years ago, maybe.
What drugs did he prescribe to you?
Percocet
And how long did you take Percocet?
for the 6 months.
When was that? What year was that?
I'm really not sure. It was quite a long time ago, though.
Did you develop a Percocet habit?
No.
No? It seems like you and I and maybe other people are in a like in parallel universes, because you don't seem very attached to reality on this situation, because you clearly did what you were alleged to have done. You didn't take the Dilaudid by mistake. Okay?
It was never even opened.
Yeah, well, you make it very difficult for me.
I apologize.
Because, well, I don't know that an apology is appropriate. I mean, it's just the way it is.
It's not my intention.
Because you clearly did a lot of things wrong with the intention of taking those drugs, to use those drugs, in my opinion, as I objectively sit here and look at this. And everything else, everything that happened, you've got an excuse for. A well thought out excuse that doesn't make any sense on any of these occasions. It just doesn't. I think the Lucci thing, you have a medication in the book when you weren't even there. Well, how's that possible?
It wasn't. It was like I wrote the date backwards or something on the book. And none of this, I never had any problem until I told them I was going in front of the board of nursing. And literally within 10 days, they started telling me that I did this with this person and this with this person. And then again, tried to fire me again. I had reached out to the board. I drove there and had a meeting. I had begged them not to please not let me tell my employer because this is going to start all over again. And within a week, it did. I told my employer on the 18th of April of 23 that I was going in front of the board. I went in front of the board on the 21st, and by the time I came back on the 2nd or the 3rd was my first write-up for Mr. Lucci.
For which you did nothing improper.
The bosses sat me down, we went over it. I believe I got an education, or I think it was an education.
What does that mean?
Just where they go over the steps, the process of signing things out. And
Why? Because you did something improper?
I wrote the date or the time backwards or something like that.
I mean, the tone of this whole thing is that your ex-husband was out to get you, the ex-boyfriend was out to get you, the nursing home was out to get you, your phone was hacked, your email was hacked. And all that added up to a big setup where you ended up with a criminal conviction. That seems to be the tone of things. You have a problem with marijuana?
No,
No? Did you ever have a problem with marijuana?
no, sir.
Okay. So, your psych report, they say you meet the criteria for cannabis use disorder due to your history of use starting around your early 20s, with the last use being 7 or 8 months ago. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
It was just on occasion.
Why?
I'm not sure why.
So I don't know there's a joint recommendation for community control. And I'm wondering, what am I supposed to do with you on, what conditions am I supposed to impose upon you on community control if there's nothing wrong? If there's nothing to rehabilitate, what am I supposed to, why would I put you on community control? I mean, part of the machinations of these statutes is to punish you and to rehabilitate you. What's to rehabilitate if there's nothing to rehabilitate?
I believe that I think differently than other people, and I think talking to a counselor or a psychiatrist would be helpful.
For what? For what purpose?
Just to deal with things like I have time management issues, organization issues. When someone asks me like the year or time, I really can't say. I don't know if it's I don't pay attention or if I'm just different than other people. I'm not sure.
Okay, well, that's not even what I'm talking about. I mean, there are a series of facts in this case which add up to you doing exactly what they accused you of doing. And you seem either reluctant or unable to accept reality. So there's a detachment from reality here that gets in the way of any rehabilitation. Because you clearly were taking drugs that you attributed to patients. And my pretty good guess is you were taking them because you have some problem with drugs that may or may not have developed through your association with Demagogue. That's pretty clear to me. Now, you are either unable to accept that that's happened or unwilling to accept that that's happened. It's one of those two things. So I quite frankly don't know what to do with you. I mean, when somebody's on probation for the purposes of rehabilitation, the point is to rehabilitate. And if the person believes there's nothing to rehabilitate, then probation isn't going to work because they're not going to follow what needs to be done. I mean, why are we going to go through the process of that if it's set up for failure from the word go?
I don't believe that it'll be set up for failure.
Well, if I put you on probation, I'm going to have you go for a further psychiatric evaluation, for a further drug and alcohol evaluation.
Okay.
And my pretty concerted guess is that they're going to order some treatment on both ends. You don't think you have either of those problems. Therefore, you're not going to engage in the treatment. and we'll be right back here because you haven't complied. That's the problem we face right now.
I would comply. I think counseling would be good.
Well, so do I, but you know, based on everything you said in these reports and what you told me up until now, I mean, those are kind of empty words coming from you because you don't think there's a problem.
That's why I think something might be wrong with me.
I guess there's no question that you took those. You signed out those drugs representing them to be administered to other patients, and you didn't do that, okay? I guess the only thing that can be said for you at this point is that you didn't deprive these people of drugs that they should have gotten. Okay? So you at least had the sense to falsify on the side that didn't harm the patients.
That's why I had asked a witness, but I didn't ever think that he was going to say he didn't remember.
Ms. Blake?
Your Honor, the state of Ohio entered into an agreement with the defendant in this case to recommend community control, and that was based on the defendant having no criminal history. It was based on the fact that the defendant, outside of this issue with Dilaudid, seemingly has the ability to be a productive member of society and to potentially do positive things. It was based on the defendant complying with her conditions of bond post-plea once the court reinstated her bond. And it appears that those things are still true. So again, the state certainly shares the same concern that the court has about the lack of accountability here. But we do have an agreement with the defendant in this case pursuant to plea negotiations to ask this court to adopt a jointly recommended sentence of community control. And I would ask that you do that. I do want to point one thing out about the nursing home staff in this case, Your Honor. You heard from one of the members of that staff, the assistant director of nursing, Ms. Mussel, and the defendant has said here today that the nursing home staff was out to get her once they became aware of her prior conduct in Wickliffe. That could not be further from the truth. The nursing home staff, and we talked to every single one of them, we went out to Vista Springs, they were very, very hesitant to fire Ms. Jernasik. She was an at-will employee. They could have fired her, just to fire her. They could have done that, but they didn't want to do that. They all expressed to us the severity of ruining her career, and they didn't want to do that without being sure of their suspicions. So they took those steps to investigate what was going on, and they did not want to ruin her career. And to a man, Your Honor, every single person that we spoke to told us, and this was unsolicited, they told us that Ms. Jernasik was well-liked and that she was a good nurse. And so that means one of two things to me. It either means that that was the act she put on so she could get away with this conduct, or it means she really, truly has that potential. And I'm hoping it's the latter. We're going to ask that you give her the opportunity on community control to hopefully prove that it is the latter. And I would defer to you, Your Honor, with respect to any sanctions that the court deems appropriate as part of her community control. Thank you.
Okay, I reviewed the pre-sentence report, the psychiatric evaluation, the details from the Ohio Attorney General report. I reviewed several letters in support of you that were submitted, all of which paint a very positive picture of you. As reflected by what Ms. Blake said about coworkers. Okay, so your problem is not that you're a bad person, not that you're not a hard worker. It's that you've got some problems, either psychiatric and or drugs and alcohol, that you just refuse to recognize or don't want to accept. Okay? Until you do that, you're going to have continuing problems. That's just reality, all right? And it isn't gonna, I mean, I could tell you that 10 more times and you're not gonna believe me, all right? It's gonna take you recognizing that. Whether you do or not is completely in your control. So I've considered all the applicable statutes. I'm gonna place you on community control for 4 years. You're gonna serve 12 days in jail with credit for 12. You're to have no drugs or alcohol and you'll be screened. I want you to get a psychiatric evaluation and follow all the recommendations. I want you to get a drug and alcohol evaluation, follow all the recommendations, maintain and obtain full employment, verifiable full employment. You're to see only one doctor. If you need more than one doctor, you have to inform the probation department of who that is. One dentist and one pharmacy for any prescription medication. You're to take medication only as it's prescribed. You're going to sign releases so probation can get your records, and you're going to pay the cost and supervision fees in this case. Ms. Crook, any other terms?
With regards to employment,
Verifiable employment.
what about in the healthcare industry?
Well, I don't know who would hire her in the healthcare industry, so it's probably not in the cards. I don't know why you would want to go into the healthcare industry.
I do not.
Okay, so.
I will not ever.
Do you understand all the terms?
I believe, yes, Your Honor.
Any question about the terms?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, if you don't comply with the terms, the state will file a motion to terminate your community control. And if it finds you violated, then you face 36 months in prison. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
If that happens when you get out, you might be on post-release control for up to 2 years under the parole authority with conditions. If you violate conditions, the parole authority could send you back to prison for up to 9 months for each violation, up to 1/2 of my sentence. If that violation is a new felony, then you could get an additional consecutive prison sentence for the violation, the maximum of which is the greater of 12 months or the time left under post-release control. Ms. Blake, anything else?
I don't believe so, Your Honor. No, thank you.
Mr. Fatiga?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay,